What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back into some more college basketball action. We've got ourselves a Friday slate to dive into here today. We got a handful of games we're going to be jumping into. So when we're all said and done here, guys, don't forget to check down there in that pinned comment. You'll find a link down there that's going to send you over to the Guy Boston Sports website. That's where you're going to find any of the plays that I do put in officially myself for this Friday slate. They're going to live over there, and they're going to be posted over there for free. So like I said, man, that link's going to be right down there in that pinned comment if you guys want to check that out. We're going to go ahead and jump over there as well before we dive into the slate for Friday night. We got to go ahead and take a look back at our last plays. Didn't get a video out yesterday, unfortunately, man. If you saw my post, I had some issues here at the house, some plumbing issues in my YouTube room where I do my videos. Was just not really smelling too pleasant, unfortunately. So had to, just kind of take the night off, unfortunately. Didn't really have enough time to really dive into the slate as well and get a good, accurate read on a handful of these games. So like I always say, man, I'm never going to force things just to put content out for you guys. And I hope you can appreciate that, man. I don't want to come up here and bullshit anybody. So with that said, we do, like I said, got to jump over there and take a look back at Wednesday. On Wednesday, we did put 5 plays in initially, then we added 1 in at the end. And thankfully we did, man, because we were 2-3 on the night Wednesday before we added in that last one. That put us even on the day, 3-3 overall. Don't lose any money, don't make any money, so obviously looking to get back on track, man. We did end up putting out a few plays. I put them over on X, put that in the post on YouTube as well for Thursday night. So got 4 plays that are live right now. Hopefully they do cash out, man. We come in here with some winning energy. But man, that has been the name of the game of this college basketball season so far for myself, man. It's been a lot of ups and downs, right? Not a lot of balance, not a lot of consistency, man. It's either been I've been on a run, really crushing things, or just kind of been in a slump trying to find that next run, man. So trying to find that next run, but like I said, also trying to find some consistency and just win on a more consistent rate here in the college basketball world. So let's try to do that here today, man. Let's see what we can find on this Friday slate. I've got 4 games that I want to dive into with you guys here today, and I want to jump over there to Outlier to start breaking those down. So if you guys could just do me one favor before we do that and just smash that like button down there for me real quick, man. Hit subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. Now let's go ahead and get into the mix, guys. The first game we're looking at is going to be tipping off at 6 p.m. We've got Yale coming into this one 21-4 overall. They're 9-2 in the conference. They're going to be taking on Cornell, 12-12 overall, 5-6 in conference play. Now, Big Red were playing some pretty good ball, right? They had won 5 of 6. You can see that right there, but they are coming in off of 2 losses. A big loss to Harvard their last time out, man. They're really starting to struggle shooting the ball, which hurts because they play at such a frenzied pace. They're coming in at 16th for adjusted tempo in the Ken Palms. Yale all the way down at 306, and you can see Yale's coming into this one off of 5 straight wins, winners of 9 of their last 10 games. They've also won 4 straight on the road. We've seen Cornell drop 4 of their last 5 when playing at home. Now, jumping back over here to the Ken Palms, neither one of these teams playing a lot of defense, right? Yale coming in at 225th. Offensively, they're checking in at 27th. If we look at Cornell, they're also good on the offensive end, coming in at 55th for their offensive rating, but all the way down at 343rd in terms of defensive rating. That's out of 365 teams, so one of the worst defenses in the nation. Coming in at 170th overall in these Ken Palms. Yale's checking in at 77th. We can see Yale, like I said, they've got a pretty good offense that they're bringing onto the court up against this horrendous defense of Cornell's. They're first in the nation in 3-point shooting percentage, putting them in at a 41% conversion rate. Cornell all the way down at 357th in the nation defending that 3-point line, giving up 37.5% shooting from downtown. Yale's also been very clean and efficient with the basketball this season, 24th for their turnover percentage. Cornell coming in at 265th defensively, and assist-to-turnover ratio is even worse for Cornell, coming in at 309th, Yale sitting at 11th. If we look at these two head-to-head as well, they did face off once earlier this season. That was a beatdown, man. Yale destroyed this Cornell team by 34 points, 102-68. Now, obviously, they were at home here. They're going to be on the road in this one. And Yale's just dominated this head-to-head matchup, winning the last 5 games. It goes one back further than what Outlier is showing here. They won the last road game between them and Cornell. That was just last season. And look, Cornell can be tough, man. They do shoot a ton of threes, right? They're not bad on the offensive side of things. They're 8th in the nation in terms of points per game, 7th for their 3-point shooting percentage. Cornell is leading the nation in assists right now. And the thing about them is they're more of a high-risk, high-reward type of offense, man. They're constantly passing the ball, trying to find an open 3. And that's the thing, when they're knocking their shots down, man, it can become a madhouse there at Newman Arena. But when they don't, And if they can't get going from deep here in this one, it's going to create a lot of easy transition buckets for Yale, and they'll be able to take advantage off of a lot of forced shots from Cornell. And on the year, Cornell just 5-4 at home. Yale has done pretty decent away from the house, man. 8-2 on the road. Now, these lines have only been out for a few hours, but I saw it open up at 4.5. Outliers telling us 3.5, man, but I know I saw some 4.5s on the board when those lines dropped initially. This was one of the first games that dropped out earlier today. It was at 4.5, bought down to 3.5, now down to 2.5. I don't agree with that movement, man, but I will definitely be on the side of Yale in this one. This team's just too good offensively against a really horrendous Cornell defense for me to worry about laying a few points with them, man. So give me Yale laying those 2.5. That's going to be the first play that I'm looking at here today. The second game that we're looking at, tipping off at 7 p.m., we got the Rider Broncs coming in to take on the Iona Gales. 16-13 is Iona coming into this one, 8-10 in the conference. Rider just 4-23 overall, 3-15 in the conference. Now, neither of these teams really trying to get out and just, run up and down the court, right? We see Iona coming in at adjusted tempo, sitting at 120th, and Rider's going to be checking in all the way down at 279th, and offensively only coming in at 351st. If we look at Iona, coming in at just 257th. So couldn't tell. I'm kind of leading in the direction of looking at this total and looking at an under here in this one. See that 141.5 sitting at plus money right now on the peer-to-peer. We could get this at 142.5 as well. Pay a pretty decent price over here at the score, minus 115, minus 118 at Bet River. So got a little bit of wiggle room, whether you want to do it at 141.5, 142.5. Definitely like looking at an under here on this one. If we check out this insight from Outlier, we can see that under has hit in 16 of Iona's last 21 games. Guys, that's a 76% hit rate. Looking at these two earlier this season when they did face off, January 14th, that was a 72-68 win for Rider. That one landed at just 140, just 1 point below this 141.5. But as I say often, man, when you see two teams in college ball face off earlier in the season and then play each other again, man, we definitely trend towards the under. These teams were going to come in and make their defensive adjustments, and both these offenses are just so poor. We can go ahead and flip it and look at those. You have Iona just 246 in the nation in terms of points per game. Rider coming in 359th. Neither of these teams shooting the ball well. And both, like I said, just trending towards the under here as of late. Iona's gone under in 3 of their last 4, under that 141.5 mark. Looking at them strictly at home, it's been 6 of their last 7 that they've gone under that 141.5 line. They've gone under the line given by Vegas in 10 of their 13 home games. Rider has hit under this 141.5 mark at a 74% rate, 5 of their last 6 games. They've also landed under the mark. They've also hit the under that was given by Vegas, right? 4 of the last 6 games overall. Now, neither of these teams are forcing a lot of turnovers. Neither of these teams are getting to the free throw line at a consistent rate. So I just think points are going to be hard to come by in this one. I got to be leaning towards the under, man. These are 2 pretty poor offenses, like I said. Just too many factors pointing me in that direction. So I'm going to take it at that 142.5 if I do end up putting this one in officially. So that's where I'm going to be leaning on that one. Under 142.5, Rider and Iona. Next game I'm looking at is going to be tipping off at 8 p.m. We got Akron taking on Kent State. Golden Flashes are 21-7, 12-3 in conference play. The Zips are coming in 14-1 in the conference, 23-5 overall. We see them laying 3.5 here on the road. That was 4.5, so money starting to come in on that Kent State side. Can't say I disagree, man. Both these teams are really coming in playing great basketball, though, so this is a tough one. Both of them coming in off of 4 straight wins. But I will say Akron, 3 straight convincing wins, while Kent State has been playing in some closer games themselves. If we look at these two from a home and away split, Kent State 13-2 so far at home this season. Akron is 7-3 on the road, though, coming in off of 2 straight wins on the road. And guys, this is a pretty underrated rivalry here in the MAC Conference, man. So expect a pretty intense game. Expect a pretty loud arena. Expect this one to get a little chippy as well. I think that makes this one tough, man, because Akron's really, they've been the more consistent team throughout the course of the season, but it's hard to go into Kent State and get a win. Like we said, man, 13-2. Their only losses at home coming to Miami of Ohio, who's undefeated, and that of Troy, which was only a 6-point loss. That was their very first game at home this season. It's been all dubs other than that at the house. Both these teams also playing with a ton of pace. Kent State coming in 34th for their adjusted tempo. Akron coming in 24th. But if we look at these two earlier in the season, it was a 69-52 win for Akron in what was a low-scoring battle. Now, looking at these stats, man, Akron definitely has some advantages, right? Effective field goal percentage, they're coming in at 8th. Kent State all the way down at 184th defensively. Akron not giving the ball up as far as turnovers, coming in at 69th turnover percentage. Kent State 221st on the offensive end. Kent State pretty good, defending that glass as far as offensive rebounds, offensive rebounding percentage, or defensively coming in at 85th. But Akron's pretty good on the offensive glass, checking in at 44th. They're putting up a ton of points. Kent State's giving up a ton of points. And they're shooting the ball pretty well overall from the field, from 2-point range, from 3-point range. And you can see Kent State doesn't really have the greatest numbers in this regard, just 214th in the nation defending that 3-point line on top of that. But if we flip this, look at Kent State's offense going up against Akron's defense. We can see on the glass offensively, they're pretty good themselves, coming in at 36. Akron defensively, 189th. Thing is, though, Akron's forcing a ton of turnovers, coming in at 67th in that regard for turnover percentage. Kent State's all the way down at 286 on the offensive side of things. I think that helps a lot. And they're also getting to the line at a good rate, but Akron's not really putting you there consistently on the defensive side of things. And while they're giving up a handful of points themselves, not defending the perimeter the greatest, their numbers do look a lot better for their overall shooting percentage allowed from the field and from 2-point range. If we look at this inside from Outlier, they are 13-1 in the last 14 games that they've been made a favorite. But in that regard, just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games that they've been made a favorite. We still have some 4.5s available with Kent State, man, and in such a rivalry type of setting here. Between two really good teams, man. I mean, Kent State is sitting at 13-2 at home, 21-7 overall this season. This is not a bad team whatsoever. I know Akron 7-3 on the road. We've already talked about these numbers, right? But I just can't lay 4.5 with Akron on the road against Kent State, man. I'd have to catch these points with them here. I just think it's going to be a tight battle, a defensive battle, and really that leads me to want to look at an under. But with that sitting at 164.5, obviously the books are anticipating a higher scoring game, and I could see it creeping up and over that mark as the game goes on. But in the first half, I expect that intensity to be pretty high, man. I would want to look at the first half total in this one and see if we can get an under. Where can we get that at? 79.5 is going to be a little bit juice, minus 134, but we can get a 78.5 minus 118. There's a 77.5 minus 104. Both these teams trending towards that under at that line. Looking at Akron on the road, 80% of the time they've gone underneath that 78.5 mark. Kent State has hit under that mark at a 71% rate, including 8 of the last 9 games they've played. So it's definitely going to be a lean with Kent State catching those 4.5 points and a lean in the first half, that under 78.5, minus 118 over here at Bet Rivers. That's probably the way that I'm going to go with this one if I do end up playing this game. All right, the last game I want to look at, 8 p.m. tip-off time now. Just full transparency before we dive into this one. I'm not 100% that I'm going to bet this game, guys. This is as much of a pick'em as you can get, but obviously a huge game, so I wanted to jump into it and talk about it with you guys. Fighting Illini coming into this one, 22-6 overall. They're 13-4 in their conference, ranked 10th in the nation. Michigan is coming in 26-2, 16-1 in conference play, 3rd in the nation. Now, Michigan coming in off of a win their last time out. That was a 10-point win over Minnesota. That followed up a 5-point loss on the road to Duke. Illinois is coming in off of a tough 1-point loss on the road to UCLA their last time out, but coming in with a significant rest advantage at home as well, where they have been really tough this season. 13-2 so far this season at home. Their only losses coming to Wisconsin by 2 points, to Nebraska by 3 points. Other than that, it's been all wins at home. Good win over Texas Tech and a blowout over Indiana their last time at home. But if we look at Michigan, man, they have gone undefeated on the road this season, and there's some tough games in there. You know, started off with TCU on the road, Michigan State, Ohio State's been playing decent ball at Purdue, an 11-point victory there. This Michigan team is tough, but man, so is this Illinois team, and Michigan usually has a size advantage, right? They can beat you up on the glass, see them 24th for their offensive rebounding percentage, but Illinois has got some size to contend with you there, 87th for their offensive rebounding percentage on the defensive end, and flipping that, you can see they come in at 3rd offensively, Michigan sitting at 52nd. Both these teams shooting the ball really well. Effective field goal percentage for Illinois sitting at 38th. Michigan sitting at 17th. Defensively, Illinois 38th. Michigan defensively 7th. Like, these are two really solid squads, man. And like I said, this is just as much of a pick'em as it can be. No, Illinois is putting up a ton of points, 85 points per game. That's 22nd in the nation. Shooting the ball really well, 35.7% from downtown. That's 82nd in the nation. Look at Michigan's defense, though. 2nd for their overall field goal percentage allowed from the field, 10th in terms of three-point shooting percentage allowed. And offensively, this Michigan team is no joke either, man, coming in at 8th for their overall shooting percentage from the field, 71st for their three-point shooting percentage, 12th in the nation for points per game, just under 88 points per. But once again, Illinois defensively, 61st in the nation, giving up just 69 points per game, not really allowing high shooting percentages from the field, 31st in the nation for overall shooting percentage allowed from the field, and 96th for their three-point shooting percentage allowed, giving up just 32%. We also got to consider, man, it is a Friday night. You can expect that student section here to go absolutely crazy. And in that regard, Michigan does have a transfer in Morez Johnson Jr. that actually came from Illinois. So you know that student section is going to be giving him some hell in this one. Yeah, man, I think we get one of those whiteouts or the orange out, whatever Illinois wants to do for a Friday night. But I think that student section is going to be going crazy. That arena is going to be going crazy. And with that in mind, man, you know, I think that kind of pushes the edge just slightly in Illinois' favor. Now, they do have the head-to-head mental edge as well. You can see they won the last matchup. This was last year, but by 20 points, and they've also won 9 straight games against Michigan. But this Michigan team this year is not the same Michigan team of years past. We do know that. You know, they've been the better team overall over the course of this season. But I just think the Illini have the size. They've got the three-point shooting to contend with Michigan, something that a lot of teams have not been able to do so far this year, man. Match up with them in those two regards. So if you're going to give me Illinois with plus money at home, now I can only get that at the score, man. You know, everywhere else, we're, it's a pick 'em, right? But if I can get this plus money with Illinois at home, man, I got to lean that direction. So like I said, when we started this off, full transparency. I don't know if I'm going to bet this game, guys, because this is about as much of a pick 'em as it can get, man. This might be one that I just pull up at 8 o'clock, sit on the couch, and watch some good basketball, man. But if I do end up playing this one, it's going to be Illinois with that plus money. So make sure you check down in the pinned comment, guys. See if you want to ride along with me, see if you want to fade me, or see if we play anything at all in this one to begin with. That's going to wrap it up, man. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Hope you found the content helpful and useful. And if you did, please don't forget to smash that like button on your way up out of here. Hit subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. That way you don't miss out on anything that we are dropping here on a daily. And that is going to do it, man. Hope you guys all cash out today. Hope you guys have yourselves a great night. And I'm going to see you back tomorrow for a loaded Saturday slate, man. There's about 150 games on the books. Like, there's so much action coming our way Saturday. So I'll see y'all then.